Hello guys and welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we'll be discussing two different things. We'll be discussing the LaLiga title win quickly, but then we'll be moving on to the main subject of today's video, which is obviously the Bayern Munich game, which is going to happen on Wednesday night. It's a big game, big old game in the UCL. But let's start off with the LaLiga win. Yesterday we beat Cadiz 3-0 and then Barcelona went to Girona and lost 4-2 in a epic game. I thought it was a fantastic game from Girona, and Real Madrid were confirmed title winners, and I could not be more happy with the win. I think it was just, all my emotions were summed up yesterday when I did that on my own. But Sean, just let me know how you feel about the La Liga title win, because it's been a tough year for us. I think it's been a very injured year for a lot of our players, and in terms of the players that we lost, the players that we brought in, maybe it wasn't ideal, but we still got the job done, and I think that the testament has to go to Carlo Ancelotti for that. So what were your thoughts on the title win?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's a win for the players and the fans, and the club who has had such an amazing season, something that we did not expect coming in to start the season. If I'm being honest, we were underdogs to Barcelona against many betting companies, against many footballing pundits, and we still managed to win despite all the injuries. And I can't watch that team must be commended, the players must be commended. Whatever you think about Ancelotti, you have to admit that he is a guy that can win matches and win these big games, these big important matches. He's going to continue doing that for Madrid, and maybe at the detriment of playing the beautiful, fulfilling, amazing football that we want. But he's going to win us titles, and the main thing is that this guy wins us titles, and we can't really dispute anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a whole dedicated podcast on the season review later down the line. But just to give a quick summary, I thought in terms of the defense, I think it's taken a huge step forward this year. With Courtois going out, I think the defense has definitely improved. I think we've had dodgy moments, but the set piece defending has been really good this season. We've kept the majority of the set pieces out of our goal. Then Rudiger's been fantastic, Carvajal's been fantastic, Ferland Mendy's been fantastic, and then Andrew Lunin, to make it look like Courtois missing isn't even that bad is just testament to Andrew Lunin and the season he's had. He's been fantastic. And just a quick note on to Thibaut Courtois. Came back, he looked really good against Cadiz, I thought. Came into action a couple times and kept the clean sheet, which he wanted. So, he looked really sharp. That doesn't mean he plays on Wednesday. That's for Andrew Lunin. But, Courtois looked really great. So, what are your thoughts on the defence this season as a whole? How is it played?
Yeah, like I said, after all the injuries, it was basically a makeshift backline. We had our backup goalkeeper, Lunin, who wasn't trusted by the coach until the coach really decided to trust his performances, because his performances were so well. In the past, it was a bit mixed, but now everyone who stepped up played an important role. I'm sure that they didn't think that they would have been so important. I think everyone gave 100%, and specifically on the defense, like you said, it's important. I believe that there's a lot to do with mentality and working hard. We give up some games, or we give up chances, and look not to make important saves, or maybe we were just lucky sometimes. But at the end of the day, you don't win titles by luck. We had a decent team structure with a lot of hard-working players, which also contributed to our defense. The main man was, of course, Rudiger, who only missed maybe a couple of weeks of football, and that's something that we should commend. Despite everyone falling alongside him, he was the only one standing. That's honestly, if I'm being honest, that's just impressive how much football he played, and performances to be consistent for that entire season. No mistakes. There isn't a game where I can remember our defense making multiple mistakes. Of course, there were the odd mistake, but for each game we were so consistent, we were so calm, and of course the hard work as well from all players, our attacking players work really hard, as well our midfielders work really hard. So, this year we have taken another step forward.
Yeah, and I think at the start of the season, I think this was probably what I believed the most, which was our defence had to improve massively. We had to build on our defence in order to win the league, and I think that's what the team has done this season. Because at times, we've had Vinicius have lacklustre games, Bellingham have lacklustre games, Rodrigo have lacklustre games, and still it's been one constant throughout the season, which has been our defence. Even maybe in the odd game we struggled a little bit defensively. But, overall, we kept our defensive structure and we kept those clean sheets and we just kept plugging along, playing these games and making sure that we kept the clean sheets in those games. And, it's overall, restricting the opponent to no goals or even just one goal, I think it's helped us massively. And I think overall, Real Madrid have benefited from this. And I think, this is, for me, it's what the team has built the LaLiga title on, is the fact that this defence has been so fantastic. So yeah, just another shout out to the defence. And also I think one more thing, Tchouaméni and Camavinga, both these guys had to play positions that they don't want to play. Centre back and left back. Camavinga as well with defensive midfields has to plug in a lot, and especially Kroos and Valverde, that double pivot, that situation where both of them were injured. Both Camavinga and Tchouaméni was injured, and then Kroos and Valverde had to play defensive midfield. They were all fantastic, and this adaptability, this versatility has just been one of the main reasons in our success this season. The fact that they've taken to those new positions like a duck to water, making sure that it doesn't seem like there's a huge drop off, and therefore, Real Madrid have overall, they've benefited massively from that. So I just want to thank all those versatile players, and how important do you reckon they have been? Even someone like Lucas Vazquez in these last few weeks as well. So how important do you reckon they've been for our season?
I of course remember the start of the season when you said that our defense would be important if we would have to win this league, because we would have lost our attacking players. And you mentioned similar to 1920, I believe, when we won under Zidane. Our defense would have to be really perfect if we would have gotten away with not investing much. And at the end of the day, and that, I'm sure people didn't expect it, but at the end of the day, they were perfect, and we have to congratulate them like we did.
Yeah, I think it's been a really great season from the defence. And then, Jude Bellingham, fantastic. You can't say anything else. Debut season, this is probably the most impactful. I've seen pundits say that this is the most impactful Real Madrid season since Di Stefano, and I would be inclined to agree. I think Ronaldo was fantastic, but it didn't lead to trophies. I think Jude Bellingham's just been ridiculous, and I think depending on what happens on Wednesday, I think this could be Ballon d'Or season loading. So, depending on what happens on Wednesday, if we can get to the final and beat whoever comes up in the final, whether it's PSG or Dortmund, I think this could be Jude Bellingham's Ballon d'Or season. But he's been fantastic. Rodrigo, he's stepped up in huge moments, and I think that's been so important, especially in a season where he's had a lot of criticism over those down periods where he's struggled a little bit. Vinicius, same thing. He's focused on his football this year. He's scored some important goals for us in those last few weeks, and he's adapted to a position in which he's not really comfortable in and wasn't comfortable in. Now it's looking fantastic and scoring plenty of goals. So I've been so happy with that front three, and I think they've been fantastic. Quick shout out to Toni Kroos as well. For me, I said this yesterday as well. For me, this has been one of Kroos' best ever seasons at Real Madrid. I think, shout outs have to go to previous season, 16, 17, 17, 18. Those are probably the two other seasons that come to mind. But for me, this is right up there. I think he's just been displaying something which, is just completely fantastic. And I think his work rate, I'll continue to maintain this, has been, I think this is the best his work rate has ever been for Real Madrid defensively. I mean, it's off the ball movement when we haven't got the ball. It's been so hard working, and I've never seen this from Toni Kroos, which has been so surprising. But yeah, I've been so happy with Toni Kroos, and I'm so happy he's extended for one more year, because he's clearly capable. I think he's the best midfielder in La Liga, and I would be inclined to say he's the best midfielder in the world right now. So he's been fantastic, and yeah, I'm just so happy with Toni Kroos. But have you got any words about the attack and obviously Toni Kroos as well?
I think a lot of it has to do with the trust that Ancelotti has placed in his players, even when they were having bad moments like Vinicius or Rodrigo. He always counted on them, especially Rodrigo. These guys are two of our big game players, and Ancelotti for one game never doubted their ability. There were times when the fans, including us, would have maybe wanted wanted them to change up things a bit, but he trusted his players, and I think that had a lot to do with it. What players did well, he gave them their chances, like Brahim Diaz, like Joselu. These guys had a much bigger than we expected, and of course, it just has to do a lot of mentality because in past seasons, we wouldn't have won this league. It would have been difficult to win this league, but I'm not sure what this year. It felt a bit different. We got back the confidence that we had in past seasons. Like, I'm not talking about like the 21-22 season because we were not that confident then, but I mean like the seasons in 2017, 2018 when you would feel confident that your players can step up, not just because they're playing perfect, but because they have the mentality to score goals and dig deep in these matches. It has to do a lot with Ancelotti, with some of the young players already winning big titles, with how Bellingham started the season. There's so many contributing factors to that, and of course we just have to be really thankful to of course the mentality, of course, that Ancelotti is still in these players, and of course they will have developed that on their own, a lot of them, but of course, like I said, there's no way going past the fact that mentality won us the league. If you compare our mentality and the coach's mentality to that of Barcelona this season in specific, then we were miles ahead. And of course, everyone deserves their flowers because no one had a bad season. There isn't a player, in my opinion, who had a bad season, if I'm being honest. Of course, Nacho had a season that was well below expectations, but with Emerson, he had a bad season, maybe a mixed season. But no one had a bad season, and that's more down to mentality and, of course, players looking at us stepping up.
Yeah, so let's move on because we're going to talk about the Bayern game because that is the big old game coming in the midweek. We'll talk more about La Liga season a little bit down the line when we've got a little bit of time on our hands in terms of a smaller match. But we've got a big match coming ahead, Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Things don't get bigger than that. And midweek last week it was a 2-2 draw, a draw which I think I would take considering the situation that the match went into. When Bayern took the 2-1 lead, they could have had further goals with Eric Dyer's a couple headers he had. And I thought, overall, 2-2 was a fair result. I think the goals were scored against the run of play, all four of them, which is quite crazy. You just didn't see them coming, especially, I thought the first goal, you saw Real Madrid just came out of nowhere. Toni Kroos made that fantastic pass. Then in the second half, Real Madrid were knocking it around, and I think they got a bit too complacent, in my opinion, and they were doing a bit of Ole, and I think that was a bit lazy from our side, and I thought Bayern just came up the field, and it's Leroy Sané, it's those type of players that can just make something happen in a matter of a moment, and Leroy Sané with the fantastic finish that was. Then same thing, 2 minutes later, Jamal Musiala runs at Lucas Vazquez, gets past him, Lucas Vazquez dangles the leg, and that's a penalty and an easy call for the ref. Then against the run of play, Real Madrid come up the other side a little 20 minutes later, and then Vinicius passes to Rodrigo. Rodrigo draws the pen from Kim Min-jae, and then Vinicius converts. So it was a strange game in that sense, but I think this should serve as a testament to all those Real Madrid fans who thought this was going to be an easy game, because Bayern in the Champions League is not the same team as Bayern in Bundesliga. I think you can look at Bayern Munich and say they had a poor season, which they did. They had a really bad season in the Bundesliga, and yesterday they lost once again against Stuttgart 3-1. But it's just, I think it's got that aura of us, where we're not maybe the best league team, but you know, in the Champions League, they're always going to turn it on. And Bayern Munich, I think they're always going to turn it on in the Champions League. It doesn't matter who they're playing against; they're always going to turn it on, and they're always going to be a danger, especially with the players that they got. Because I don't think there is another team in Europe that has this level of individual brilliance that Bayern Munich has. I think Bayern Munich has got a really good attacking midfielders in terms of Jamal Musiala. I think Leroy Sané is obviously fantastic, and he proved once again. Harry Kane can make a moment in just a second. And then you look at other guys like Serge Gnabry, who can cause problems. Alphonso Davies, who came on a bit late, which I thought was quite confusing. And I think all these guys can make a moment in the matter of, it just makes something happen, which I don't think Real Madrid are going to face that in any other side. You know, this level of individual talent, even against Man City, you see the players rely more on the system than the players. I think this individuality is going to cause us a little bit of a problem because it's something that we don't really play often. And I think we did struggle with it in the first leg. I thought a lot of times it was Jamal Musiala running at our players. It was Leroy Sané running at our players, and I thought that caused us a little bit of a problem. But I'm confident going into the second leg because we got Dani Carvajal instead of Lucas Vazquez, who I'm sorry for Lucas Vazquez because he had a torrid time. It's not something that you really expect him to do well against, especially when you look at him. I was surprised Tuchel didn't take advantage of it by putting on Alphonso Davies a lot earlier, but I thought that individuality is going to cause us a few problems, and it did cause us a few problems. But overall, I'm happy with the result. So, what are your thoughts on Bayern's attack in the first leg?
Yeah, of course. I was just preparing my preview for the game that I was about to post on the page as well. And of course, fans underestimated them, but of course, there is football fans who would have been here for maybe years, decades, would know that Bayern Munich is not a team to be underestimated. The same thing happened in 2011, 2012, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, 2012, when Bayern Munich came second in the league. We underestimated them. Everyone thought that it was a Barcelona Madrid final, but Chelsea and Bayern won, and they went on to the final. I think similar this day, everyone is saying it's a PSG Madrid final. Dortmund has caused an upset, and Bayern is level with of course has. They have the mentality to win. It doesn't matter how poorly they're doing, but they're doing in the league. They're doing well in the Champions League, and they have the players who can turn the game, and there are a lot of strengths that they have, and if you look back at Madrid in 2017, 2018, another example was that we didn't move the league. We were miles of Barcelona, but in the Champions League, we placed one of our eggs in that basket and won it. I think the similar could be said for Bayern Munich. So they're going to come in hard because they want to win something. They're not going to end their season. They don't want to end their season trophieless. After giving up the Bundesliga. Of course, Kane is there, and he can help facilitate guys like Musiala, Sane, and of course Gnabry if he plays. Son, they're so much dangerous players, and we have to definitely plug gaps better than we did in the first leg. Of course, it's not the number one, and it's definitely like I said, after the second leg at home, but that doesn't always guarantee a win, and we must definitely, like I said, just give 100%, not underestimate it. I'm sure the players know it. I'm sure Ancelotti knows it. We can't afford to let this opportunity slip for another double. The league we won easier than we thought, and the Champions League is now presenting a good opportunity, and the players must see that, and we cannot allow this opportunity to slip. And sure, the way it's in our hands. If I'm being honest, we are the favourites. Every season we go into the Champions League, no matter what happens, no matter the team we have, I think we can always make a case for us to be the favourites. I think this year, we're in the same situation.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the 2012 game against Bayern Munich. Especially in that match situation where it's a draw going into penalties, you would never go against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, but that's what Bayern Munich did. They took that game, and you know, it caused problems for them in the future because Real Madrid once again went on a merciless streak in Europe post that season. But I think I think you look at Bayern Munich, they've got so many weapons, and I think that's going to cause us a few problems. But the way we caused them a few problems was through Kim Min-jae. I think he had a poor game. He really did struggle, and I would be doubtful that Tuchel goes ahead and puts Kim in this game against us next leg. I thought Eric Dyer was actually really good, which is quite surprising. But you know, he's always played well against us, even when he was at Tottenham. To be fair to him, I'm not gonna go and disrespect him for no reason. But yeah, I think next leg, I think they'll probably play De Ligt. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. I was surprised when De Ligt didn't play, to be honest. Maybe they wanted a little bit more speed, but I don't know. Kim looks really slow against Vinicius, and I thought he struggled a lot. And I think that's something we're gonna have to try and counter against when they're not gonna play Kim again this leg. So we're gonna have to be careful about that. But overall, I think we need to get a little bit more of the ball in this leg because, you know, first leg we had periods. But as soon as Bayern scored 2, they took it back, and it just looked uncomfortable for us the rest of the game. I have a strong feeling that Bayern Munich will sit back and try and counter us in this leg. But I think if we can get an early goal, I think Bayern Munich will be unsettled, and I think that's going to be the game plan. For me, Toni Kroos was magnificent first leg. I think most of our players didn't play amazing, but I thought Toni Kroos was fantastic. Something similar from him this game as well. Jude Bellingham has to step up, and he scored yesterday against Cadiz, which is a great goal from him, great tap-in. But I think he needs to improve this game. And I think overall we just need to get hold of the ball a little bit more, because when we had the ball, we were creating chances, we created problems for Bayern Munich. It's just, I think we just didn't get the hold of the ball enough. I thought Konrad Laimer from Bayern Munich had a great game. And if I was to give you a little predicted lineup for Bayern Munich, let's go here. Goalkeeper, I think Manuel Neuer will start. Right back, I think Joshua Kimmich. Centre backs, I think De Ligt and Dyer, like I said. Left back, I think Mazraoui will play left back, and then the midfield two of Goretzka and Konrad Laimer. Left wing, Rafa Guerrero got injured yesterday, so he will be ruled out of this match. I don't know what happened with Rafa Guerrero, but get well soon to him. So left wing, I'll go for, I think it will be Leroy Sané, or I think Musiala might be utilised there, but we'll see. I think Gnabry will probably play right wing this game. He was a little bit injured, so he couldn't start on Tuesday, sorry. So I think Gnabry will probably play, and then Harry Kane up front. But I thought we did a great job on Harry Kane. But let's talk about that midfield. What are your thoughts on the midfield last game, and what do you think we need to improve against them on Wednesday?
Well, a key point that I must address is that I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Tchouaméni should be a centre back to allow Camavinga to come into the lineup, because Camavinga is of course a bit more versatile, and he's a bit more technical than Tchouaméni. Honestly, of course, yes. I think that Tchouaméni will do a better job than Nacho centre back as well. But of course, I'm not too sure. Maybe
I thought Nacho was fine first leg, to be honest.
Yeah, he was fine. But of course, I think maybe if you want to squeeze Camavinga, then you will have to start Tchouaméni at centre back. So if I'm being honest, it's not like 2021 or 2022 when Camavinga is the only player who can come off the bench and change a game. I believe that Diaz and Modric, all of these guys can impact the game. I know that Adegule and Ceballos good players, but how much does Ancelotti trust them to impact the game? So I think that's maybe why I have to see keeping Nacho and Tchouaméni on the field, but I would just hope that we can make our switches faster. Modric needs needs to come out faster. We were too reactive against City in bringing on Madrid after they were scored. And of course, again, in the last game, we made our substitution after Bayern scored too. So I think this time we cannot make the same mistake. We can start at the same 11, but if the same problems occur, then we can definitely make the substitutions a bit faster.
Yeah, I thought last game, to be fair to Ancelotti, making that Modric substitution is quite hard because Kroos was playing so good, and so you can't really put them both on the field. But I think, I agree, it was too reactive rather than proactive, and I think it caused us a few problems. But one player I thought was fantastic first leg, Rudiger, caused problems for Harry Kane. Harry Kane really couldn't do much. I thought in the first 20 minutes he caused a lot of problems. He got on the ball a lot and provided a bit of a springboard for Sane, who had a lot of chances to score, but he didn't. But I think overall Rudiger did a great job on Harry Kane, and I want something similar from him. I know Rudiger can do it, and I expect something similar from Rudiger. But let's talk about Militao. Do you reckon he's fit for this game? Because we saw him once again. I thought he was alright against Cádiz yesterday. He's played quite a few games now. Do you think he's ready? Because I think it's going to be a difficult task playing against Harry Kane. Or do you think maybe not? Maybe a little bit further down the line. Maybe in the final potentially. Do you think? What do you think about Militao for this game?
He should have the play if it's available, but only as a substitution later on if we are holding on, or if we need the extra defense, like we did against Bayern and like we did against Barcelona when he came on and had a good second half, in both games, but of course not to play 90 minutes. He was exposed a couple of times the last few matches, so it's difficult to say that he can start this game. I won't say yes to that if I'm being honest, so not sure many should say yeah, that's it. He came back, maybe had he performed at his 100% best, then maybe yes, but unfortunately it's clear that he's not 100% at this time, maybe match fit or maybe in performance and form, so hopefully that would come soon. But I would trust him to start this game, despite Nacho season. I still have Nacho there, and Chouameni as well. So those are the two guys I would trust ahead of him in this match. Similar to Courtois, yes, he made one save on yesterday, but he wasn't tested enough for us to properly analyze him. So we'd have to stick with him.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into the starting lineup. Like you said, I think. Courtois not fit ready. He's not ready for it, but he did look good. I thought, I expected him to lose a step, especially after meniscus as well. But he looked good. He looked agile. He looked ready. He looked a bit slower than usual, but that will come with time. Looking for this game though, I think is completely fine. Right back, Dani Carvajal. How important do you reckon that Dani Carvajal versus Sane or Musiala matchup is? Because we thoroughly missed him first leg. Lucas Vázquez clearly couldn't deal with it, and that's fair enough. I think it didn't cost us too much. One penalty, but overall, I think Tuchel could have exploited that a bit more, but he didn't. How important do you reckon Carvajal and Musiala or Sane will be?
Yeah, very important because Musiala is of course one of the best, not just wingers or midfielder, but one of the best attackers in general. And what he can do with the ball is his feet is so quick. That he's so dangerous. One of the best players in the world, maybe top 10 right now, despite his age. Despite the fact Bayern didn't win, he's still one of the best. That was a concern for me before we played that Musiala. So of course I'll say him and Kane are the most dangerous players. So of course having Carvajal back is very important. It's still not going to be a walk in the park. Let's be honest, because Carvajal sometimes will have difficult performances in difficult games. I think this would definitely be one of them. And Valverde would still have to help out. Just like we have to help Mendy. One of the extra midfielder like Chouameni and Toni Kroos will have to help Mendy out. So I think it's going to be Sane on the right and Musiala on the left. so they can both come in on their strong feet and cause problems. Because that's where most of the problems occur. So I think that's definitely what's going to happen. And we have to be prepared for it. If I'm being honest, we can't afford to let what happened last game happen, because it was Sunday and Musiala coming in from the wings that led to both of my goals. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just coughing a bit. Sorry. Yeah, so centre backs. I think for me it would be Tchouaméni and Rudiger. I think Tchouaméni starts this game as a sign of a bit of aggression. We need a little bit of aggression from the beginning to let Bayern know that we're gonna properly go for this game. And I think Tchouaméni starting at centre back, obviously he's forcing that extra midfielder. I think is going to be a statement of intent. Like you said, Militao comes on a little bit later, especially if we need to do some in-the-box defending. I think he's shown that he can do that. But I think for me, to start, it will be Tchouaméni and Rudiger. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. But like I said, I have no issue with Camavinga coming off the bench if we have to impact the game. Because we need mobility. But not just Tchouaméni in this performance, but I hope that Camavinga can be on the pitch at least for, let's say, 35 minutes, 30 minutes minimum. We need Camavinga on the pitch. Hopefully we utilize them, effectively, and the subs are used effectively. So I'm going to see with natural playing as long as Camavinga against Ancelotti.
Yeah, left back, Ferland Mendy. You probably said Ferland Mendy already. That's completely fine. He's going to have a tough matchup, he's going to come up against. Like, last game he played up against Muller for some of the match, Musiala as well, and Sane. They're always rotating, which is a bit of a problem. But it's going to be a huge matchup for him. I think one of the problems was he called for a help defender on Kimmich, but no one came. So that gave Sane a bit of space for Sane to release that shot. So a little bit of help defence is going to be needed. And I think for me, that comes in the form of Camavinga at defensive midfield. Camavinga is obviously a little bit more mobile than Tchouaméni. It gets across the field a little bit better, especially if Toni Kroos is going to be playing as a double pivot effectively. So I think, I think for me, Camavinga plays defensive midfield, and then Kroos as well, and Valverde and Bellingham. I think Kroos his defensive work is going to be huge as well, which is not a sentence you would have thought was going to come alive this season, especially with the extra midfielders that we brought on. You didn't expect Kroos to be taking this defensive workload, but that's what he's been doing, and he's been doing it really well. So yeah, I mean that's fine for me. What are your thoughts on the midfield? What are your thoughts on the midfield there? Hello? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just continue.
There was some issues with my device.
Alright, okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I'll cut this bit out anyway. Alright, so where was I? I was talking about Kroos and Camavinga. So how important do you reckon Kroos' defensive workload is going to be in this game?
Yeah, this season compared to a lot of other seasons, I don't think he's that big of a liability again. That's what Chelsea's doing well in his on-the-ball ability. His defensive work has been excellent. So I think that's why Toni Kroos, if you have him surrounded with so many talented youngsters who's going to work hard, I think his game would naturally elevate, similar to Luka Modric. So I believe that if you start Modric or Kroos, they will be just as effective. So that's why I would love Luka Modric to renew, because similar to Toni Kroos, they will elevate their game with young players at their side. But Toni, he definitely has to be there covering for Fulham, and we've seen that Valverde is going to be on the other side. He has to kind of replicate that. We know he can't 100% replicate Valverde, but he definitely has to be in position wise to win those tackles. At the same, I'm a bit more confident in that compared to last year.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Valverde as well is going to have a huge game. You know, you're going to have to cover. There's going to be a lot of doubles down that side, especially with Mazraoui. But I think the front two is going to have a huge thing to do. I think Vinicius last game was terrific. I thought he was fantastic. From you know, he didn't have the exactly the most exceptional dribbling performance, but he played through the centre and he caused problems when he needed to. The moments were big. Played that brilliant ball to Rudiger, which, you know, caught me off guard. I didn't expect him to make that ball, which is pretty impressive. Is it wrong to say that Vinicius Junior is the best Champions League player right now? Because I think he's had more impact than any other Champions League player right now, which may sound ridiculous, especially with the fantastic players that there are. But for me, Vinicius Junior is the best Champions League player right now. He's matched the amount of assists Messi got in his whole career. He's I'm gonna say he's gonna chase down Cristiano for the Champions League goals. Probably not, but we never know. Cristiano didn't score in his first 30 Champions League games, so you know Vinicius has time. Yeah, I think Vinicius is gonna have another huge game. If it's not every single moment, he's gonna cause Kimmich some problems, or he's gonna cause De Ligt some problems. But even in just the moments, if he has a huge game, that is the difference between winning and losing. So for me, I'm gonna go for Vinicius and Rodrigo. Rodrigo maybe didn't have the best of games, but he did cause the penalty. He could win the penalty, and I think something similar in front of his home crowd. Yeah, I think he's going to be needed in this game as well. I think Rodrigo got some nice rest against Cadiz. And then if we need to, Brahim Diaz off the bench. Brahim Diaz looked great last week. He completely changed the dynamic like he always does. Scored a fantastic goal against Cadiz yesterday. I mean, we're not talking about the Cadiz game because it was for me, I felt like it was going to be a pretty insignificant game because I thought Girona were going to lose to Barcelona. But in the end, Cadiz did. But that game was obviously the league clincher. But yeah, Brahim Diaz scored a fantastic goal. I want something similar. Yeah, for me, Vinicius, Rodrigo, yeah. What are your thoughts on that front two and how much impact can they bring?
Yeah, they're so versatile and they can both interchange their positions now at this specific time. To the point that you know we can be so effective on opponents. We won't have an idea what we're doing. I'm going to give you a small little full joke that may be something that I didn't expect to happen in life, because I would normally play like Vinicius as a striker, you know, in FIFA, because he's so fast on any through ball behind the defense. You know, he catch on and score with Rudiger on left, Valverde on the right, and Benzema behind Vinicius. And we actually seen something like that in the life, but with Bellingham behind and Rudiger on the left, and our fastest player is in the centre, because the centre backs is only scored on the full backs, and he's taking full advantage of that. Of course, Vinicius is best on the left wing, and he will want more of the ball on the left wing, but he's becoming so lethal that sooner or later he can be classified as a striker, and something that we did not expect last season or 2 seasons ago when we said Rodrigo is the most complete player of the two. I think Vinicius is becoming more complete player as a striker. This is only going to benefit his long-term development. And he is so good. Right now, that when you said he's the best Champions League player, I understand he's sitting here since 2021. Vinicius Junior is the best Champions League player, especially when, of course, there's so many stats that I have that I've been paying for a post that I can not see right now. But if I do so, then the podcast will be maybe 5 to 10 minutes longer, because those statistics are some of the best stats you see for the amateur playing the Champions League.
Yeah, but overall, that's our starting lineup. I mean, for me, Tuchel's not going to take it lying down. He's going to properly give it his best, and I think he knows what to do. It's just whether those Bayern players can run whatever he needs to do. You know, Tuchel has caused us so many problems over the years, and I don't think this one's going to be any different. He's going to cause us problems, win or lose. We're going to struggle. We're going to have to suffer. But for me, I think this should be a win. I think at the Bernabeu, anything can happen. 90 minutes at the Bernabeu is very, very long, and I think Bayern should experience that. But, you know, in terms of living memory, Bayern Munich are one of the only teams who have come to the Bernabeu and beat us successfully. You know, this is one of the only times that, you know, you can think of many Champions League losses, but it hasn't happened at the Bernabeu apart from the Ajax game, which we don't talk about here. I've never watched that Ajax game back. But yeah, I mean, that Bayern Munich game is obviously caused us so many problems, but also caused us so much success over the years. But, you know, they're never going to take it lying down. I think this is going to be a tough game. And we're going to have to suffer, because even if you guys think that Bayern Munich have not been great in the Bundesliga, which they have not, they're still going to cause us problems. They're always going to cause us problems because it's Bayern Munich, and they've got fantastic players like Jamal Musiala, like Joshua Kimmich, like Leroy Sané, like Harry Kane. These guys are always going to cause us problems. And even if they went and lost to Stuttgart yesterday 3-1, they're still going to cause us problems. And so, yeah, I mean, that's all I've really got to say about this Bayern Munich game. Have you got anything else to add about this? If you know, maybe some of those statistics you can give us, but yeah, apart from that, that's all I've got.
Yeah, nothing more in relation to the Bayern game. We just have to be careful and not underestimate them. You know, we have the tools to be successful. You know, we have some of the best players in the world. But Bayern Munich also have some of the best players in the world. You know, in most positions, you know, both teams are quite even. If I'm being honest, I would say Bellingham and Musiala are quite similar in terms of talent. Rudiger is quite similar to a lot of Bayern Munich players in terms of talent. But the deciding factors for me, they can all decide matches. I think Vinicius, Kane, Bellingham, Musiala, Sane, Rodrigo. These guys can definitely impact the game. And of course, Madrid are the favourites, but we can't do Bayern Munich out. You know, if I'm being honest, you know, we did the first part of beating Manchester City, so if anything other than a win would feel like a failure. I'm sure it's not just a few fans have that feeling, but if you can beat the defending champions, then you definitely have to go on to win the competition by beating all the other teams. I believe that Real Madrid are the only team that could have beaten Manchester City. And I was more confident this year. I'm actually more confident in the second leg against City than in this second leg against Bayern Munich, because I just believe that in the history of the club that no team would successfully knock us out on back-to-back occasions, and we would have learned from our mistakes, you know. But hopefully we get a win on today, on Wednesday, and that we can add number 15.
Yeah, I mean, this is always going to lead to the number 15. We're going to have to do it. Final Champions League in this format. Let's go and do it. Let's go and beat Bayern Munich. Let's get to Wembley. Let's play PSG and let's knock off Mbappe. Let's beat this Qatari project for the final time. They after this, the Qataris done. After Mbappe leaves, that's it. That's over. The project's done. So that's the ultimate goal. But let's go for number 15. This is it. This. I think for me, whoever wins this game on Wednesday will win the Champions League. Whoever wins this game on Wednesday, whether it's Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham, will win the Ballon d'Or, unless Messi wins Copa America. Then yeah. Apart from that, yeah, let's go and win this. Predictions for me, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Real Madrid win. Yeah, 2-1 Real Madrid win. One from Vinicius, one from Rodrigo. For you, and one from Harry Kane. What are you gonna go for in this game?
I think we're going to win 3-2, but an extra time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see an extra. We go down 3-0. We go down 2-0 and then score 3. But
yeah, I can't. I don't want to see us play another penalty shootout. So.
Yeah, you know, that's going to cause a lot of PTSD for a lot of Madristas. So let's not go to penalty shootout this time. I think Bayern Munich would be more than happy with a penalty shootout as well, especially in the history. So yeah, especially with Neuer in goal as well. It's all coming back there. But yeah, that is it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.